Do y'all struggle with formal words when writing a business letter? If that's the case, then today's video is going to be very important as we're going to look at core vocabularies and phrases that you can use when writing a business letter. So stay tuned, keep watching to get to know what these words and phrases are all about. Business writing, or in particular business letters, have become very important and a crucial part of everyone's daily life these days, as most of us are writing business emails and letters almost on a daily basis. But what we struggle with are finding words, formal words that sound professional and sophisticated and polished when writing a letter. So today's video is going to be dedicated to these formal words and phrases that you can make use of the next time you write any such business letter. So before I give you the words or phrases that you can make use of while writing a business letter, let's first look at the parts of a business letter so that I can give you the words and phrases based on each of this part so that it's clear and it makes it appear concise and easy for you to make use of these words. So when construing business letter, we usually begin with the greetings or the opening statement, opening comment. Next, going to the next part is the body of the letter. So body of the letter is ideally the reference that maybe you have a previous conversation with the recipient of the letter, so you give reference to that part. So that would be the body of the letter. The next part would state the reason for writing. Why are you writing the letter? The next is call for action. So call for action ideally includes what kind of response you want to receive, or what you want the recipient of the letter to perform immediately after he or she receives this particular business letter from you. Okay, so following that is ideally the closing statement, like thank you for reading or regards. These are your closing comments. You can also include something called as call for future action. This would include ideally something like, I look forward to hearing from you, or I look forward to receiving the report from you. So these kind of future actions. And lastly, we have enclosing documents. So see, if you have attached your documents to that email, you can specify whatever the enclosing documents are. So these were the parts of a business letter. Now we shall look at what kind of words or phrases you can make use of in any of these parts. So now let's look at the vocabulary that you can make use of in each part. So going forward, you can avoid informal words in your business letters and choose from these list of formal words that I'm just going to provide you right now. So the first part was the opening statement or the greeting. So ideally this part begins with dear Mr. whatever the name is, dear Miss whatever the name is, or in most of the multinational companies you would have seen people referring or calling out to each other using their first name. So that's a very common or natural behavior, and there's nothing wrong if you know the person, the professional very closely, and you've always responded or referred to that person by their first name. So you can very well use the first name. So say you're writing a letter to somebody who's called Rob, so you can say dear Rob and then just proceed with your letter. So that's perfectly fine. And if not, you can say dear Mr. whatever, the last name or the first name. So this is ideally how your greeting or the opening comment would look like. The next part is the body of the business letter. So this, as I said, ideally, it will talk about what kind of reference you're stating or the subject of the letter. Or if you had a previous conversation with the recipient of the letter, you can also give reference to that. So things like in response to your letter, or in reply to your letter, or with reference to the phone call today, or we wish to bring to your notice that. So these kind of statements can be ideally used when writing the body of the letter, which is actually going to set pace for whatever the subject is going to be discussed in that letter. After the body of the letter comes the reason for writing. So this particular part would include sentences like I'm writing to apply for, or I'm writing to inquire about, I'm writing to apologize for, I'm writing to confirm that. So these are some of the phrases or sentences that you can make use of to state the reason why you're writing that particular business letter. The next part is call for action. That is because you're writing the letter to the recipient, you are expecting some kind of response from the recipient, or you wish the recipient to perform certain action. So that is what you're going to state in this particular section. So you can say something like, could you possibly do this for me, or I would be grateful if you could do this. Say for example, if you are expecting a shipment from the recipient, then you can say it would be, I would be very grateful if you could dispatch the shipment at the earliest. So this is a call for action, and you need to state what you're expecting the recipient to do in response to this letter. The next part is the closing remarks or the closing comments. So this part ideally, kind of summarizes, or you can say it finishes up your letter, because you've already stated the call for action and your reason for writing. So this particular part can have something like, thank you for taking out time to read my letter, or thank you for your consideration, or feel free to write to me if you have any questions. So these kind of statements can be used as the closing comments or closing statements. Sometimes just before signing off, you can also include something called as call for future action. So as I previously mentioned, this particular part is with reference to a future action that you might want the recipient to consider. So for instance, we look forward to seeing you next week, or we look forward to hearing from you soon. So these kind of call for future action statements can also be included just before you sign off or end your business letter. So you might have seen people state something known as enclosing documents. So say you are writing a business letter and you have attachments with that email, then you can always say, please find enclosed or enclosed herewith. So these kind of statements are usually added at the end, maybe with the please see note, or just as it is, you can, people make use of ENCL dot and they write what is being enclosed. So these kind of enclosing statements can also be made at the end, just before you give in your thank you or regards. So lastly, we have the complimentary comments or statements, wherein you give best regards, warm regards, or we thank you in advance, or yours faithfully, yours sincerely. We all have seen these kinds. So these are your complimentary statements that you ideally put at the end, and that finishes your business letter, and it looks professional and perfect. So I hope going forward you would be making use of these formal words and phrases the next time you write a business letter. And do let me know which kind of phrases you prefer, if there's anything apart from the ones that I just discussed, if you make use of any other formal words and phrases. I would love to know that, so do leave it in the comment section, and maybe I'll discuss that in the next video as well. And I shall be up with another interesting topic very soon. And if you enjoyed watching today's video, please don't forget to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I shall see you all soon again. Take care of yourselves. Till then, bye bye.